Shut up and sit down. On this episode of the Front Row Report, we sit down with Fozzy vocalist and WWE wrestling superstar Chris Jericho.
This is the first headline tour you've done and you guys have been able to do in a few years. How good is it going to feel to finally get out on the road?
I mean, we're really excited. We took 2016 off by design. The fact that Stuck Mojo, which is the other band that the dudes are in, had a record and a tour, and then I was doing some stuff with the WWE. So we just felt it was right to kind of get away for a while and not oversaturate. Rather than doing spot shows here and there, just do nothing. And in the meantime, we started working on the record and writing the record and recording it, and that's been going on for the last 6 months. So by the time you get to this point where the record is about to be released and the first single is coming out soon, and here we are ready to go, we're really excited, man, and we're super super stoked about it. And it's we hadn't seen each other all in a room together for the last year and a half, and we did the photo shoot, we did the video. It's like you realize how much you miss your bros and how excited we are to get out there and do what we do, which is kick ass. We never have a show where people don't leave happy, and we plan on continuing to do that. We spent a lot of time putting together the right bill with King and Sons of Texas, a couple bands that are the same vibe as we do, which is just have a great time, drink some beers, show your boobs, whether you're a girl or a guy, do whatever you want to do. And it's funny because I heard when we were coming to Louisville, we're at Trixie's, where they're like, that's a strip club. And I was like, well, that's perfect for us. It's a great vibe. And actually, our last album had a song on it called Lights Go Out, which was the biggest song that we've had. That's actually a huge hit in strip clubs.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was a strip club DJ chart.
Yeah.
And we were top 10 for like 3 months. So, yeah, of course, it makes sense to be playing a strip club, man. I mean, who wouldn't want to do it? It's better than playing in like a beer joint or something. Give me a strip club any day.
Yeah. I mean, how can that not be fun? I mean, it's just, especially what I was going to say with Lights Go Out, I feel like it's perfect. I mean, it's going to be a party. And a Fozzy show is a party.
That's our whole vibe, exactly. It is a party. And our vibe is 1979 Van Halen. We want people to enjoy themselves, man, and that's what we do best. We're not there to start a mosh pit and start a wall of death. If you want to do that, go for it. But we'd rather just, like I said, drink some beers and have some sing-alongs and have a good time.
Right, and Paul's back. Paul is...
Yeah, man. We're really excited to have Paulie G back on bass and just being around him and hearing his bass playing on the new record. And, and that's the thing about being in a band. It's 20% ability, 80% compatibility. And you have to have that vibe of being happy to be around each other and positivity and good energy, because you're around each other for, weeks on end. You go to Europe for 3 weeks or whatever it may be. You see each other every single day. And if there's any bad will or anybody's a complainer or anybody's a grumpy cuss, it will throw off the time-space continuum as to how much fun you have and how good the shows are. And we never had any problems personally with Paulie. He had some stuff that he had to deal with, and he did. And now that he's back, the band. This is our band. This is the right lineup. It's like if you're talking about Guns N' Roses. Well, it's obviously it's Axl / Duff, Steven and Izzy. That's the classic lineup. And Chris, Paul, Rich, Frank, and Billy. That's the classic Fozzy lineup, and it's great to have them back.
Exactly. You talked about Stuck Mojo. What was your reaction when Rich came to you and said, hey, we're going to start this up again and do a record and a tour? I mean, what was your reaction when he came to you with that?
I was super happy for him because the WWE at the time, and the run that I was on wasn't supposed to be a year and a half. It was supposed to be 4 or 5 months, and we were going to begin work on the new Fozzy record, and then it started going so well, and Rich started wanting to do these songs that he'd written for Mojo. I was like, so I said, let's you all do out of our systems. Let's enjoy the success that we're going to have with it, and let's get back with Fozzy in 2017. And that's exactly what we did. So yeah, I was happy for it. I thought it was a great record. The last record, I thought they really kicked ass on it.
It was
enjoyed it.
Really good.
Here Come the Infidels. It's great.
Definitely. When you guys have spent as much time apart as you have, more so than usual. Does it take more rehearsal to get ready for a tour when it's been a year and a half or so?
It does. I mean, the thing is, these songs are we've played them so many times, but it has been, a year and a half, and you do have to get in the room and play it a couple times, but it comes back pretty easily. I was talking to Paul Stanley last week, and he was getting ready to go to rehearsal, and I was like, "Are you guys working on some new stuff?" He said, "No, but we're going out on tour, and I don't care how many times you've played Deuce and Look It Up and Love Gun, you got to get in the room and go through it a few times, so it's not like, okay, we have a sold-out show in Belgium,
right,
let's work on the songs live." I mean, it doesn't work that way. So I think even just playing the songs, I mean, you might get the parts right, but there's a certain groove and a vibe that exists when you have the boys in the band together again. And I think that's the more times you can go through it, the more locked in you get, the tighter you are, and the better you are as a band.
Definitely. And with the new record coming out, I mean, can we expect any new material on this record, on this tour? Or is this going to be more, let's play the songs that we know, that everybody knows?
No. We're not going to do we're not going to force feed you a bunch of songs you don't know. Our plan is two. We're going to start with one. We're going to start the show off with the new single Judas,
okay,
and then go from there. So it will be the greatest hits of Fozzy with some new material, because
awesome.
that's why we're doing it. The single comes out at the beginning of May, and that's when the tour starts. So you're kind of locked in together and working in tandem. So I think people will enjoy that, because I think you want to hear one or two new songs. We don't want to go out there and pull a Neil Young and play the whole new record when people haven't even heard it yet. But the songs that you will hear, and a couple little new gems as well.
Definitely.
And we pulled out a couple older ones from the catalog that we haven't played in 5 or 6, 7, 8 years. So we like that as well.
Nice. And you guys are playing a lot of festivals on this run, which, I mean, with it being as long as it has been, I mean, definitely I would think helps. I mean, you're playing Invasion, Rebellion, Rocklahoma, lots of radio festivals. I mean, those are its own atmosphere in itself. I mean, those are parties. Those are just, people are there for the hits, and you see everybody that you haven't seen in so long. I mean, that's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, those festivals. I'm glad they're doing more of them in the States now, because it's something that's been going on in Europe for years, where you go there and you do, festivals for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And now we have that, especially in the month of May here in the States. And you're playing to your fans. A lot of people have never heard of your band before, and that's my favorite gig. Playing your headline shows, well, that's your friends, the friends of Fozzy. But I like going into hostile territory when the guy's got his arms crossed. He's like, "Who's this Jericho wrestling band guy?" And at the end of the show, they're going nuts, having a good time. That's a lot of fun as well, winning over the holdouts. So you get a combination of both at festivals, and I love them. The only thing that's kind of a drag is you only play 30 minutes, 40 minutes unless you're headlining. So you really got to pick your set properly. And sometimes just as you get warmed up, you're done, and that's always like, "Oh, okay, well, we're finished already." But it's the nature of the beast, and it's the sacrifice you have to make to play in front of tens of thousands of people, which is really class.
Definitely. When it came to writing for this new record that's coming up, writing for this record, you've been on the road a lot more with WW than you have in the past, and stuck Mojo going on the road again last year. Did that affect the recording process of writing for this new record at all?
No, it didn't, because we never really sit in a room and write anyways. In the past, I would write my parts and send them over to Rich, and Rich would send them back to me. And also, we had Johnny Andrews writing with us for the whole record. He wrote Lights Go Out with Rich on the last record, so we wanted him involved. He produced the record, so he was really Rich and him did a lot of skull sessions and jamming it out, and they picked pieces of my stuff that they wanted to use, and it came up with the rest themselves. So I still did as much work as I always do songwriting. I didn't have as much use, because it was more of Johnny's vision for this record, which we liked. We wanted to give him total control and let him produce the record, make the record that he thought we should make, and we're really happy that we did.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited to hear the record. I love the last two. I got into Fozzy with Sin and Bones, obviously.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd always heard about Fozzy, but I never had the technology living in Iowa to really find the music. And so now I'm like Fozzy fanatic. So I'm really excited. So I mean, coming off of Do You Want to Start a War, where musically and sonically, where do you pick up with this record?
Well, I mean, it's definitely the next step. It's definitely it's a extension. It's what's what I'm looking for. It's a
like a continuation.
Different than, well, not really a continuation. It's a little. It's more of an evolving Fozzy. So we really put a lot of stock in bands like U2 and Guns N' Roses and Metallica, and I think the best example might be David Bowie, where there's always different styles, different eras, you know, and we like that too. And we're not completely changing what we do, but there's definitely more melodies in this. It's very much a hookier record. There's not as many guitar solos on the record, but it's still heavy and melodic is what we're more concise, I would say. So it's an evolution from Do You Want to Start a War as much as Do You Want to Start a War was an evolution from Sin and Bones. So I think you can look at this trilogy of records. They're all great records, but they all have something a little bit different to it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. Do you guys have a title for the record yet? Obviously, I'm sure you can't disclose that right now, but is it to that point yet?
Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no worries.
Actually picking up Paulie. We're shooting a video today, so I'm just picking Paulie up from the airport. So
oh, nice.
But yeah, so I think it's a great trilogy of records that shows a lot of growth, but it's still very heavy and very melodic. So, anyways, like I said, the trilogy of records, from Sin and Bones to Judas, I think they're all very great records that have a little bit different elements to them all, which is the key to longevity for sure.
Awesome. I wanted to touch on something. I didn't know this until recently, but you're a big fan of 80s Christian metal. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and I grew up on that stuff. Bride, Guardian, Petra, White Cross, Striper. You had Oz on Chris Jericho recently. Did
you hear the Heaven's Metal Meltdown episode on Chris Jericho?
I haven't heard it yet. I saw that. I'm listening to it today at work, actually.
You got to check it out, dude. It's Richard Christie from the Howard Stern Show and Howard Jones from Killswitch Engaged.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so they're all freaks about it as well. So we have a good little group text that we do, and we have a good time with it.
Have you heard about the new band that's coming out that's starting right now? It's members of Guardian and White Cross. It's called Revival. It's got Jamie and David from Guardian, Rex, Carol, and Michael from White Cross.
Michael, yeah. I heard that, but is it called Revival, or is just the album called Revival? Because what they were listing it as was Guardian White Cross. I'm like, that's the worst freaking name ever.
It really is.
Call it Cross Guard or something, maybe, or Crossian or something.
I'm thinking it's going to be a Revival, but as long as they don't go with Guardian and White Cross, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, me too. I love the idea.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great idea.
I recently saw a show here up in Indianapolis. It was White Cross, Petra, and Striper on a show together, which is like...
Really?
Yes. It was like... That's what I said when I saw it announced. I was like, they're doing that? And it was absolutely amazing. Like, it was...
That's rare. It's rare for Striper to do gigs with other Christian bands.
Yeah, it really... I was shocked when I saw it, but I was like, I have to go to that. And it was like the best thing ever. It was just like my childhood in front of me. How did you get into those bands? Was it with the popularity in the 80s?
It was just I remember I saw Striper Soldiers Under Command in the record store, and I just thought it looked really cool. I'd seen him on a local news show, and just thought, wow, they look really cool. And I was kind of from a Christian family, and I just thought that it was a good mix, and I loved the music. And then, because Striper became so big, the other bands started popping out. I think the next one was Barren Cross that I checked out, and then suddenly the gates opened, and White Cross and Guardian, like you said, and Holy Soldier, and Bride. I love Bride. They're a Louisville band, I believe. Yep. So, I didn't just like them because of the message. They were great musicians, and there's some great songs out of all those bands as well. It's weird. In the early 80s, there was this magical time for Canadian rock and roll bands. There was like 30 just amazing Canadian rock bands that came up from about 78 to 82. Same thing happened with the Christian metal bands. There was just this glut of 85 to 88, just amazing bands that came out. So always was a big fan of that for sure.